Welcome back to GC 360. In our next story, the polarizing debate surrounding Chick-fil-A's political agenda continues. We investigated a new chapter in the story unfolding here on campus. The national controversy surrounding popular fast food chain Chick-fil-A has now come to Georgia College. Although Chick-fil-A is known for its Christian beliefs and makes sizable donations to religious groups, many people were surprised and offended in July when CEO Dan Cathy made public remarks against same-sex marriage. The controversy quickly garnered national attention, causing gay rights groups and even some public officials to condemn Cathy's views. On the opposite side of the spectrum, many saw these condemnations as an attack on a business standing up for its beliefs and took to supporting the company. This movement culminated in what supporters would call Chick-fil-A appreciation. And we are joined now by the author of that petition, Connor Johnson, and representing the college Republicans, Danny Dobson. Connor, Danny, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right, to start off, we have a question for you, Connor. Describe what motivated you to start the petition and why you feel Chick-fil-A doesn't belong on the Georgia College campus.
Okay, well, for starters, I've been serving on this campus in many different capacities for many years. And when it came to my attention where the university was, where Chick-fil-A was putting all of these proceeds, it definitely left me unsettled. And the fact of the matter is that millions of dollars are being pumped into these nonprofits every year, and some of which are classified as hate groups by the Southern Poverty Law Center. And so the fact of the matter is, I chose to start the petition in order to try and grasp student attention. And while the petition doesn't necessarily hold any flack with the university, it definitely is there to represent a symbol for the work that I'm doing behind the scenes, which is, I submitted a 7-page document the other day to several university officials and Sodexo officials in an effort to try to get Chick-fil-A removed from campus.
Okay. All right, well, on the opposing side, Danny, my question for you is please describe to us why you feel Chick-fil-A deserves to stay on campus.
I believe Chick-fil-A should stay on campus for just a few reasons. First, I think it's obvious that the overwhelming majority of people on campus like Chick-fil-A, and they want Chick-fil-A to be on campus. They have great food, great staff, great service, and they're just a good company in general. And also, with regards to the statements, Dan Cathy, he's an individual. He doesn't speak for the company. This is a free country. He's entitled to his opinion. And it wasn't a hateful statement in any way. I'll read the statement if you like. Let's see here. I think we're inviting God's judgment on our nation when we shake our fist at him and say, we know better than you as to what constitutes a marriage. And I pray God's mercy on our generation that has a prideful, arrogant attitude to think that we have the audacity to redefine what marriage is about. I don't see that as hateful. I don't see that as grounds for a petition at all. And that's why I think they should stay on campus. They're just a great company.
All right. To you, Connor. A question that has come up is someone argued that once the customer has received the food they pay for, what becomes of that money is no longer their business. What is your response to that claim?
Well, my response to that claim is that it is actually entirely our business. The fact of the matter is a very large portion of student proceeds are being dumped into these nonprofits every year just because Chick-fil-A is the #1 profitable section of auxiliary services on our campus. And to be honest, quite frankly, it has nothing to do with Dan Cathy's statement. It's freedom of speech is freedom of speech. However, I do have an issue with the fact that you're dumping $2 million into these different groups that qualify gays as, perverse and also as being, a completely immoral aspect of our culture. And that is definitely what I have an issue with. And also, regardless of whether they are a private business, they are using, like I said, that money to dump into these nonprofits.
Right. Danny, why do you believe that this is a matter of free speech?
Well, I'll answer his first in saying he's talking about their private corporation or the private charity which gives money to those bad groups, as you say. And I think we're too quick to judge companies. Yes, companies make mistakes. Companies' profits are spread around. And Chick-fil-A also offers $17 million a year to scholarships and marriage counseling. So, there's a lot of good there as well. And free speech, like I was saying, you know, he's a private individual. He wasn't speaking for Chick-fil-A. He was asked a simple question, and he answered it. I mean, that's better than him lying in the interview. That's my personal opinion. It's better to answer straightforward instead of lie. And then, you know, a lot worse things have been said in an interview. I don't think what he said was bad at all.
All right. Connor, what do you believe are the legal grounds for a public university such as Georgia College removing Chick-fil-A from campus?
Okay. Well, for starters, Chick-fil-A is contractually obliged to abide by the contract that Sodexo sets in place for them. And it's not only Sodexo, but it's also Georgia College's anti-discrimination policy as well. And it's protecting the rights of not only LGBT employees and the corporations, but also the businesses that they come in contact with every day. And just to put that into perspective, Sodexo scores a 100 on Human Rights Campaign's Buyer's Guide, which lets everyone know kind of what corporations are safe for LGBT employees and also for those who choose to consume, you know, those foods and beverages. And Chick-fil-A scores a 0 on that Human Rights Campaign Buyer's Guide. So in my opinion, those two completely conflict. There's no way to view it as not a conflict when one scores 100 and the other scores a 0. And frankly, I view that as a violation of our anti-discrimination policy when you are using those student funds to dump into these hate groups.
All right. Danny, do you have a response to that?
I think he's got a very legitimate case, and I like that it involves him personally, and he's not trying to put politics into it. He's well researched, and I can really appreciate that, and because he's fighting for something that he believes in, and that's good. That's what this country is all about. And but with regards to the index, there's also a lot of good companies on that index. Like I know ExxonMobil, one of the biggest companies in the world. They employ a lot of people and make a lot of money. They do a lot of good. I want to say they have a score of 15. So, you know, it shows that Chick-fil-A is not alone with their low score, and it also shows that maybe those scores aren't exactly accurate.
I think going along the same lines, an important part of free speech is defending viewpoints you disagree with. How would you respond to those who say you are merely protecting an opinion you happen to share?
First, I would say that you do not know me, you know, and I don't agree with Dan Cappy. I don't agree with his views on marriage, but I respect the fact that he's allowed to speak his mind and do what he wants. I mean, this is America. You can do what you want here. We have freedom for a reason.
Right. Connor, an important part of free speech is defending viewpoints you disagree with. So do you feel the same way, just standing up for what you think is right?
As I've stated previously, I have no issues with anything regarding Dan Cathy's freedom of speech. I have no issues regarding anything that he said or anything. It just completely revolves around the fact that money speaks louder than words, and you cannot allow a corporation to exist on a government-funded campus when you have a group of minority students who feel oppressed in some way by this organization.
Right. Well, thank you both for joining us today. We will continue to follow closely as this situation unfolds. We'll be right back.